Paul Fletcher, the worst communications minister the Liberal Party has put in office, maybe the worst communications minister ever. Why this guy calls himself a Liberal, I will never understand, because this is one of the most illiberal policies I've seen from any side of government in my life. Liberal, Labor. In fact, the last time I saw something this bad was the Finkelstein inquiry, when the Gillard government sought to regulate the print media. This is worse. This is Paul Fletcher's Finkelstein moment. And he says, the Morrison government will introduce legislation this year to combat harmful disinformation and misinformation online. The legislation will provide the Australian Communications and Media Authority with new regulatory powers to hold big tech companies to account for harmful content on their platforms. And you have to see the draft position paper that this is couched in. Harmful content can be anything up to and including information which threatens marginalised group or the environment. So conceivably, I could come on a program like this, say, we don't need new windmills because Australia doesn't emit that much greenhouse gas, and in any event, who cares? And I could be struck off by the Australian Communications and Media Authority for disinformation that may harm the environment. This is Ministry of Truth stuff. This is Canberra's secret police. This will be monitoring what you and your families say to each other online. This will stifle mainstream opinion. This is what the Morrison government is doing. So Morrison, don't talk to me about not cancelling people, Scott Morrison. Don't talk to me about the importance of free speech when you're empowering the Australian Communications and Media Authority, who, by the way, will have a disinformation action group that will meet in secret and issue directives to these companies to scrub off information that is inconvenient to the political class. Don't talk to me about not cancelling one of your candidates when it's convenient, and have Paul Fletcher with his Finkelstein moment threatening to crack down on misinformation on the internet. I mean, this is appalling. This is a Liberal government, a government that has shown time and time again it couldn't care less about our basic freedoms and basic legal rights. This is the government that made it a criminal offence for Australian citizens to re-enter their own country. This is a government that failed to stand up for the integrity of our federation and for our God-given right under Section 92 of the Constitution to freedom of movement. This is a government that saw shanty towns spring up around the Murray River because people couldn't re-enter their own home state. We had internally displaced people in a first world country, and now this is a government that wants to censor us on the internet, that wants to police our thoughts, that wants to police our online speech, that wants to censor mainstream opinion, that wants to have an official government-approved version of the truth. And Morrison says, oh, well, Australians are sick of walking on eggshells. Oh, really? Well, how scared are they going to be when Paul Fletcher has his Finkelstein moment and we get a Ministry of Truth embedded in the bowels of the Department of Communications? So again, great to see Scott Morrison speaking up against cancel culture, but when will he have this bill pulled? When will he call Paul Fletcher into his office and say, Paul Fletcher, we actually support free speech in this government. We want this Ministry of Truth, this ACMA, this Canberra thought police scrapped. Well, I'm not holding my breath, and I don't think you should either. So, Scott Morrison, he's great at saying the right thing, but he is terrible at doing the right thing.